Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk all things Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes Steelers-Ravens final injury report and game statuses, the Penguins play ugly but find a way to win in Nashville, and a former Pirates pitcher is now back in the NL Central. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. Steelers-Ravens final injury report and game statuses. This Sunday's game between the Steelers and the Ravens is without a doubt the biggest game of the season for both teams. The Steelers can clinch the AFC North Division title and a home playoff game with a win, while the Ravens are fighting to keep their hopes of doing the same thing alive. Before this massive Week 16 matchup tomorrow, here is the final injury report and game statuses for both teams. Starting with the Steelers, they have quite the list of injured regulars for this game. Beginning with two players being ruled out are wide receiver George Pickens and quarterback Justin Fields. Pickens being ruled out is a little surprising, as he looked quite healthy in videos from practice this week. This raises my concern for how the offense will perform tomorrow, as Pickens' recent absence has shown just how valuable he is. Even with 14 missing again, the Steelers could have used the Justin Fields package to keep the Ravens' defense uneasy. Unfortunately, he took a late hit on his one and only play of the Eagles game and got an abdomen injury, now promoting Kyle Allen from emergency quarterback 3 to backup. The next Steeler might as well be lumped into the conversation with Pickens and Fields being out, and that is safety Deshaun Elliott, who is doubtful with a hamstring injury. There were a handful of cases in the Eagles game where Elliott's tackling abilities were missed, and it looks like the black and gold are going to need to fill his shoes by committee again. The last two players with game statuses are corner Dante Jackson with a back and defensive end Larry Ogunjobi with a groin, both of whom are listed as questionable. Looking at their participation throughout the week, I think Jackson will miss this game, having not practiced except in a limited capacity yesterday, while Ogunjobi has been in practice all week. All other players on the Steelers' final injury report do not have game statuses and will play, including outside linebacker TJ Watt, who somehow didn't miss any substantial practice time this week after suffering a low ankle sprain in Philadelphia. Thank goodness for that. As for the Ravens, they have 6 players with game statuses. 2 of those 6 have been designated as out, and they are corner Jalen Armour Davis with a hamstring and wide receiver Deontay Johnson with a personal matter. If you haven't been following the situation, the personal matter for Johnson is him being excused from all team activities this week after being suspended by the Ravens last week. All I can say is keep going, Deontay. We love seeing a division rival having off-the-field headaches. The last 4 Ravens on their list, who are all questionable, are wide receiver Nelson Aguilar with a concussion, wide receiver Rashad Bateman with a foot, guard Daniel Falele with a knee, and outside linebacker Owe with an ankle. I'm not entirely familiar with the Ravens' depth chart, but possibly being down 3 wide receivers in Johnson, Bateman, and Aguilar would be a big break for the Steelers. All others on the Ravens' final report, most of whom are just backups, will play. Will the Steelers continue their winning ways against AFC North opponents this year and win the division, or will Lamar Jackson finally have a good game against Pittsburgh and keep the door open for the Ravens? We find out tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. The Penguins play ugly but find a way to win in Nashville. A common motto said across all sports is, "A win is a win." Well, that certainly applies to the Pittsburgh Penguins, as last night against the Nashville Predators, they played one of their ugliest games in a while, but somehow skated away with the victory. Like a bad movie that you keep rewatching, the Pens went down a goal early as Jonathan Marchessault scored on an odd man break just under 4 minutes into the game. Eventually, the Pens got something going as Sidney Crosby broke a defender's ankles in an all-first-line credited goal for Brian Rust. In Penguins fashion, they gave the goal right back about a minute and a half later, and the period ended with the Pens recording just 5 shots. The second period started off horribly again, with Steven Stamkos extending the Predators' lead also under 4 minutes into the period. With Pittsburgh playing poorly and Nashville surging, the Penguins had to respond to avoid the game running away from them. They got that timely response in the form of 2 goals from the other 2 members of the top line just over a minute apart. Crosby got a big deflection power play goal with a couple of FUs for Predators forward Michael McCarron sprinkled on top, and Ricard Raquel followed suit to tie it. In the third, the period started off with the 2 teams going back and forth looking for the tiebreaker. The Preds were the team that got it as defenseman Brady Shea got the go-ahead tally on another odd-man rush. Things were starting to look bleak for the Pens, but Erik Karlsson had 2 good shots from the point, getting the second one by Juuse Saros to tie it again. Nashville made another strong push, trying to end the game in regulation, but couldn't, and for the 3rd Penguins game in a row, the contest went to overtime. OT started with Crosby winning the opening faceoff, but the Penguins lost possession after Sid had the puck passed to him without a stick. Once the Pens got the puck back, they nearly gave it away twice, but thankfully Brian Rust had space and opportunity in the high slot, and he beat Saros with a laser over the glove to win it. Watching this game, everything was going against the Penguins. The Predators were buzzing, the referees weren't on Pittsburgh's side, and the Pens couldn't get out of their own way with penalties, but somehow, someway, they found a way to win. The top line of Raquel, Crosby, and Rust once again carried the team with 9 combined points. Erik Karlsson had a breakout performance with 3 points, and Tristan Jarry did have a few timely saves throughout the game. I said a few days ago that this 5-game stretch starting in Nashville would be crucial to the Pens remaining in the playoff picture. They stumbled a bit in last night's game, but are off to a good start. Now the much tougher Devils await them in New Jersey tomorrow night. And finally, a former Pirates pitcher is now back in the NL Central. Everybody knows that within the past handful of years, the Pittsburgh Pirates have developed some excellent pitching, with more on the way. However, no matter how good you are at producing a product, you're still going to have some duds every now and again. And that was what the Bucks had with right-handed pitcher Roansy Contreras. Back in May earlier this year, Contreras was traded for cash considerations to the Los Angeles Angels. With the Pirates and Angels combined last season, Contreras appeared in 49 games, recording a .435 ERA, a .138 WHIP, and 56 strikeouts in 68 1/3 innings pitched. Now Contreras is making a return to the NL Central, as after being waived and claimed by multiple teams this offseason, he was picked up by the Cincinnati Reds yesterday afternoon. Looking back at his time in Pittsburgh, Roansy seemingly had a lot of potential that never got unlocked. He will now have another opportunity to find his footing in the MLB, but with the Pirates' division rival. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys will join me back here tomorrow, as I will be live for instant reaction and analysis to the Steelers-Ravens game. If not, I hope to see you guys back here on Monday with some more Pittsburgh sports news.